What's up, my friends? I am Enoch Petreucly, Male Witch author and channeler. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm joined by my good friend E.A. Koetting. How are you, E.A. Koetting?
I'm
And
doing
we're
spectacular. Thank you, brother. It's awesome to be on with you.
awesome. I'm so glad that you agreed to have a chat with me, and we're going to talk about whatever comes up. We're going to keep it free form, flowing, and talk about the energies that have come up over the past, I guess I would say, couple months. And right before we jumped on, uh, it's funny. You said that you got a message to get more grounded. And interestingly, right before I actually started this, right before I invited you to the Zoom meeting. I got the same message to stay grounded and to ground myself, and they told me to take my shoes off. So I did, and I got my shoes off, and you got your shoes off. So we're off to a good start. We
Yeah, that,
got
that, that is. Well, and that's a signal to me of like something's about to happen. This ain't just a regular conversation. This is, there's going to be some energy and power flowing through this. And yeah, and dude, you got to listen to those signals. You know this, but for the audience or whatever, you got to listen to these signals. The little signal that just says, take your shoes off. It's a little thing, but these little things that if you do enough of them, it stacks up into a really big, these become the gateway that you step through into the magical world.
absolutely. I 100% agree. It's those subtle things that the average person would miss unless they're really listening to their gut and their telepathic communication. I won't say telepathic voices, because it's not always the way it is. It's a feeling a lot of times, and it's like data downloading into your brain, and then it unlocks. It's not always words for me. And like I feel like people sometimes dismiss that. If it's not direct verbal information, they dismiss it. But the feeling that you get, the subtle vibes, are really important for sure.
Well, so there's a when you talk about the heart chakra, when you actually go back into the Sanskrit, anahata does not mean heart. That's not it at all. It's the unstruck chord.
Right.
It's the message that doesn't have a voice or a word. It's the feeling that you can't put any words to. And so with that, that is that there's a huge thing you're touching on here, because we'll get the signal from the spirits or from whatever, and when we get
Mhm.
that signal, if we're catching it early enough, it is just a feeling that you can get. And if you dive into that feeling, it can blossom into all the things you need to know. But at the beginning stages, we want to convert that into words so we can try to understand it. And so people who are assisting, the spirit has to say words to you. Okay, that's cool that you're still at that stage, but continue to try to reach deeper, because there's a level where the words just can't even describe it. Like it's dude, that's actually our struggle, is we're experiencing things that are so hard to put any words to. Our struggle is actually to find out, how can I even explain this to anybody at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I find that for me, I have to use a lot of analogies, and I have to use, like, you have a goal, but you can't go there directly. You have to guide the person to that goal. Like, you have to put little breadcrumbs of words until they see it for themselves. It's like, it's hard to, like I said, directly describe something in words without some kind of link to that person that is communicating beyond words. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think, why it's easier to speak in person to somebody, why it's easier to speak to their face rather than through a text message. For me, it's a lot easier, because you don't know the person's meaning, and the underlying feeling in those words. If you're not looking a person in the eyes and feeling that person's essence while you're talking to them. So absolutely.
Well, and even that there is something there that you can. you can take somebody's name, pluck it off of a chat room, or they can give you their name, over your email, and you can do readings for them, and you can do all kinds of you do rituals for them, and they can get a lot of benefit. But if you take that to the next step and you include, talking to them at the time that you're doing it, having a voice recording, having a video recording is even better. That does like bridge that gap even more. But nothing, no matter how much technology we get, nothing comes as is as good as just being in person. Just being in person, because in person you can actually send energy. There's a whole conversation see, this is the thing that people don't understand. There's a whole conversation that's happening invisibly behind the scenes. Even if you don't think it is, when you're sitting there talking to Susie, whatever Susie's thinking in the background, you're picking it up, even though you might not think you are. And so start tuning into all those invisible conversations, and you can actually, I call it the spirit behind the words. There's always the words that people speak or that they write. But you can, if you're crafty, you can look behind the spirit of it and go, oh, I see what you actually meant by that. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And I guess I would call it the resonance or the frequency of the words that you're speaking.
Speech actually taught me how to hijack that. Is you can hijack that if you can say any random word. He says to do a command like hand me that pen over there. But as you're asking for the pen, you infuse that with, give me your number or come home with me or whatever it is that your command is. And so even though you're not saying it, you're thinking those words, and you're thinking that the emotions of your invisible command while you're speaking whatever mundane command you've got, because it's like hijacking that same principle of the invisible conversations and the invisible energy that happens when you're connecting with people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely true. And it can really knowing that it's kind of like psychologists know these things, but they use different language to describe it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed like in my path, I had to do a lot of therapy. so so just by doing that and being around like people that are attuned to that kind of thing, I actually learned a lot from them indirectly. Like I feel like I picked up a few things, and I kind of became, between working with those people and working with the spirits, I feel like I've been marinated in communication skills, or bettering my communication skills from that. Just being around spirits, generally speaking, you wouldn't think that sitting alone in a room and meditating would better your communication skills, but it does, because you learn shit about people, that you wouldn't know otherwise, because your brain is just opening layers upon layers of what's going on, like you said, what's going on in the background. And it's interesting.
When
And
you
I
put
want
yourself in Oh, no,
go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt you, but when you put yourself into a therapeutic setting, which I've gone so far deep into the abyss, and I've gone so far deep into addictions. I've had my life has been saved through therapy, people have different experiences, but if you're doing it right, what therapy should be is really intense shadow work. But you're really looking into what's hiding underneath and what you don't want to look at and all of that. So it can be very useful. But I'll tell you what, also, it can also be harmful to continue diving into the shadows when you've already resolved them. That's the harm with continuing therapy, I think. That there's a certain point where you've just got to say, all right, now I'm caught up and I'm living in the present, because that's what I found for myself. Because dude, I could take that shovel and I could dig into the shit inside of my brain for the rest of my life. And at some point, like I don't know, there's a balance there. There's always a balance, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I think once the healing is done and you've gotten all that you can out of it, it's kind of holding you back. It would hold a person back to keep looking back at the past, I think. I
Yeah.
think that a spirit once said to me, to dwell on the past is death.
Yeah.
And I guess that could have multiple layers of meaning, because you're changing, but also you're getting held back if you get stuck there, if you get stuck there. And I think that's why a lot of times in life, it's good to break away from people that doubt you or look at you like the past version of yourself. You know what I mean? People that look at you like you're not any better than you were um, when you were at your lowest. They saw you at your lowest, and they always, when they look at you, they will always see you at your lowest. So those people, they kind of need to go unless they change their perception. I feel like if you're surrounded by people like that, it can hold you back. I felt like that before, and
Well, I think that's a huge part of this. So I believe that the true self, when people talk about, I want to find my true self and my highest self, I don't think that's something you find. I think that's something you create. And we're building ourselves. When I talk, dude, my entire, ever since I started writing anything, I was always talking about building this empire. And what maybe people don't understand is the empire is yourself. That's yourself. And because you can lose, I can lose my house, I can lose my car, I can lose every relationship I have, but I'm my empire. I will regrow everything. I can go into a desert and I can make it blossom because that's who I fucking am. And so when you build that up within yourself, that you are a walking empire, that's what it's really all about for me.
that very much resonates with me. And I guess I would add to that, that or that kind of opens up to me the thought that you believe in your godhood. You know what I mean? You believe you are a creator, and that belief gives you that power. And you create, like you said, you're creating yourself. Not just here, you're creating yourself in the astral and the ethereal. You're creating those versions of yourself, and they're great. They're infinite if you want them to be, and they bring and building those bridges to your infinite self makes you able to create in this physical world, right? That's kind of where how I look at it. And if if time's happening all at once, then how can you say that you know where I'm going with it, right?
Ah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But this is the beautiful thing. Is like time is all happening at once, but that one moment is like right here, right now.
Yeah.
The way I kind of see it, it's almost like a finger pushing into a piece of paper or something and dragging it along. And that's what we're doing in this present moment is we're dragging ourselves through this the field of reality, and it is affecting everything. And look, let's just take this at the most basic level. All right, so you can do this experiment at home for a full day. Make yourself feel like crap. Like focus on all the worst things in the world and make yourself feel like crap. Through that day, you're probably going to start feeling yourself getting kind of sick and weak. You're going to feel yourself, your mind is going to get foggier. You're going to see how just focusing on the awful things in life is going to ruin your whole system. Your whole life just goes down. Now, the next day, you want to do the same experiment. The next day, just focus on all the positive, happy stuff. And I'm actually going to say, try to be as grateful as possible. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational energies we can get. So make yourself as grateful as possible until you're just vibrating with it, and just see how that does for your day. You do one little thing, you can't just do it in your emotions because it's going to affect everything else. So you can, and it's really easy to get our emotions to guide the rest of us. And so if you can make yourself passionate about something, make yourself empathetic about something, or make yourself pissed off about something, that's a ton of energy that you can harness.
Oh yeah. The emotional energy is powerful. If you can control it and redirect it, it's creation, it's destruction, it's both, you know. And that's I noticed that when doing certain castings, things will happen around me that make me very angry, or they're just like dumb shit. Things that like test my patience. Like I can't get my shit together. I can't get this ritual going. I feel like, and then it hits me. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. You know, my high self is like pinging me saying, yeah, we're doing it on purpose. And then in that moment, I know to redirect that rage that I'm feeling into what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what kind of ritual it is. That rage is raw power, and if you know how to control it and direct it, it will change reality.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and with any intense emotion, for me, the key is to simultaneously make that emotion as intense as it can be, while I'm at the same time making myself as calm as I can be. So I'm feeling the emotion, I'm presencing it all, but I'm not letting the emotion specifically take control of my body, because that's the first thing is I feel myself clenching up and it's like, no, relax, relax, breathe, and actually breathe that in and feel the yeah, for me, I work really well with colors, and so like with anger, red for sure. And so I'll see red
Yeah,
energy just absorbing into my muscles, into my bones, feeding me. And then here's the thing that I found though is there's like with every emotion, if you're really connecting with it and ramping it up, you're going to hit a point where it overflows. You just can't handle it anymore, and that at that point, like that's where people would want to stop it and just be like, okay, that was too much. No, no, that's when you start sending it out towards your goal, sending it out into the world or into the ritual. So yeah, you build it up, whatever the emotion is. It's got to be a powerful emotion. Rage, anger is super easy to fucking tap into. That's, dude, it's I don't know if that's just us or if that's the human condition, but it's super easy to make myself angry quick.
well, I think it also has to do with being a guy, having high testosterone, or having the tendency to be aggressive, right? Or a
Yeah.
tendency to have a shorter fuse.
Mhm.
Um, and I think that's a tool. It's not negative if you know how to use it. It's a tool that you can use and get what you want in life, not by not direct action, like you said. Like if you're fucking fuming and you want to punch something, if you do that, that's the energy going away into that object that you just punched. So it's like you said, you channel it into your goals and you release it into your goals, and it does make the anger go away. It does go away instantly when you do that because it's going somewhere and doing something, and it's not with you anymore. So you can tell, right, that it's actually working. And
Yeah, I wouldn't even say, I would actually just reframe that a little bit. It's not necessarily going away, it's being transformed.
yeah,
That's,
well, going away from your awareness. Let me put it that way.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. It is, it's interesting because it does, whether I'm doing this with anger or grief, if you're working with necromancy, do this with grief and with loss and whatnot. But every time it does start out, I'll ramp it up until it's so intense, and then it breaks through every single emotion. If you ramp it up enough, becomes ecstasy. Like you say, the rage goes away, and it's bliss. You're just in bliss. You're like, damn, I started this pissed off at the world, and now I'm in love with everything. So yeah.
Absolutely. Oh man. Yeah,
Well, one of the
I use a lot of red as well. Obviously, I got the red nerve all
yeah,
bars. Yeah.
hell yeah.
So I
Um,
wear a lot of red. I'll let you talk. Sorry
yeah,
for interrupting.
one of the things I was wanting to hit you up on here is that we were kind of chatting about before we hit the record was that there is a transformation, a transfiguration happening amongst the human species, and I think probably all of the species on this planet and this planet itself, the rocks and the minerals and every part of this planet is being shifted, and there are those of us that are sensitive that we can feel that shift a little bit early, and so for the past. I'm sure a lot of people who listen to this are going to agree. For the past few years, we've been trudging through our own darkness and working through the shadows. And at this point, there is a conversion that's happening where, dude, I don't even know. It is amazing. It's like pure light. Like things are coming out of darkness into a pure conversion of light. And I'll be honest, I'm a little. I know that it's the effect of some of the rituals that some of us have been doing, and it's the effect of the work that we've been doing that's cracking things open. I know that we are part of this. We're not just we're not just victims of this change, we're actually part of this change. But I just want to kind of catch some of your thoughts, because this is all kind of new. Like within the past couple months, it's really been hitting me that there's something huge that's upon us. What are your thoughts, dude?
I 100% agree that it's happening. And I think that the darkness of our work was absolutely needed for the world to rise into a state where it is, it's like the truth is being revealed, and the more of the work that we're doing, like for example, the book of soul retrieval that I put out all those years ago, and the book, the Black Witch that we put out. I think that work is shadow work. And for example, the book of soul retrieval, where I actually describe a lot of cursing of the grid system that keeps the world locked into a low vibration. And because of all that darkness that we've been doing, used in a productive way, the grid of darkness that keeps the world bound into a low vibration is breaking away, right? It's like we were locked in a box, and then enough of us were casting to break that box open. Enough of us were doing our shadow work to break that box open. It's not just the white lighters, people who just the star seeds, the white lighters. I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying that it was also our work that made it possible, and the shadow work, the darkness, the dirt that people didn't want to touch, that we were willing to touch, that we were willing to, the grief and pain that we were willing to go through to elevate the earth, absolutely made a difference, I think. And it's noticeable now. Like, now is the time that we are reaping the serious benefits and rewards of the work that we have done. It's like everything that we were doing over the past, I would say 10 years, about 10 years of hard work that I've been like nonstop, like every day I've been working, and self work, and that has created the bridges, and those bridges have pulled the entire planet up out of the darkness into a place where they cannot hide the deception any longer that has been put on mankind, and I think a piece of that is technology as well. The expansion of technology, the ability to have information and spread information without limitation, has made that very much a possibility. And it's over the, I think we've gone up and we've gone to the peak, and we're over that peak. So we're on the other side now. We're not going back now. I don't think the earth is going back into a dark place. I think it's coming up into light, legitimately, And
Yeah.
I have experienced real experiences of enlightenment. Like, legit enlightenment has come from this work that I've been doing. Things that are condemned by a lot of the people who do spiritual work, the things that are condemned have allowed me to achieve the same enlightenment that spiritual masters and yogis have achieved, and I'm very proud of myself, and I think that the community, a lot of people in the community, yourself included, are experiencing these states as well. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Everything you just said is dead on. I think that the whole idea of as above, so below. I think people only usually divide that saying, yeah, if something's spiritual, it's also going to be physical. No, 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 no. That's the little things that you experience in your daily life. Tons of people are experiencing. The struggles you're going through is actually the cosmic struggle that's happening everywhere that you're also experiencing in your individual life. Um, And every little part of that, those of us that rebel against the light and go into the dark, that's exactly what we're supposed to do. That's exactly what we're supposed to do. Every single part of this is moving in accordance with plan, but it's interesting because it does require all of this does require rebellion. It does require pushing against it and taking action on our part. Because otherwise, yeah, I think we were. I'm glad you say that we're over the threshold of it. I would like to believe that because it seems like it could have gone real dark for humanity. It could have gone to a real bad place, and it was sliding into that real fast. And it does feel like humanity is hopefully swooping out of it. I mean, mind you, we still have at this moment, the moment that we're actually speaking right now, we've got Iran and Israel lobbing bombs at each other. We've got Ukraine and Russia still popping off. North Korea is always doing North Korea stuff. And so with that, we've got a lot of upheaval, but that's to be expected. And here's the other thing is none of that's accidental. I believe that the wars that are happening right now, every single war happening right now, is meant to try to keep this enlightenment from happening. They're trying to offer up blood sacrifices to their tyrannical slave god, so that way he'll keep things in a tyrannical order. And it's just not going to work. It's I think I do think things have come too far. That the way of domination is really the way of the past. That's the previous order was control and domination. What we're going into now, it does feel like it's more harmony and cooperation with the universe, with each other, with our own selves.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think the wars like that are happening are not just the deep state, we'll call it, whatever you want to call it. It's not just the deep state pulling the strings, trying to keep us down with the low vibration death that is happening, the sacrifices of millions of people to give to the whatever is binding humanity. And I think it's also the hatred that people have for each other. These people in the Middle East that genuinely, this entire groups of people that genuinely hate each other, they're duking it out. They're getting it out of their system until there will be nothing left to hate. If they blow each other off the map, that's tragic and it's horrible. But the hatred will be gone because it's like if how like if somebody's fighting with somebody else and they hold resentment, and that resentment just stays there unless they speak it. They speak how much they're angry at the person. It's like it's like a grand macrocosmic fight with a sibling is going on between these nations, and they're just like, that hatred is brought to the surface and it's being cleansed from their consciousness. I think that's an aspect of it. I don't think it's all of it. I think that's an aspect of it. That's why it's being allowed to happen in a way. It's like their shadow work on a grand scale.
No, it's actually crazy you say that because like right before we got on this call, I was on a consultation. And this dude I'm talking to just has a ton of self-hatred, And he's projecting that into everybody else and the same thing we all do. And
Right.
and I actually told him to do almost exactly what you just said, but it's with a mirror. Stand in front of a mirror, look at yourself as if you're talking to yourself in third person, and speak out loud whatever your self-hatreds are. Whatever it is that you hate about yourself, actually say it out loud. Because you're keeping it inside yourself and you don't want to admit it. You don't want to even face it. As soon as it's out there, it's like the space between you and the mirror or between you and the person you're saying it to, that space actually allows it to disappear. As long as you're keeping it in you, it's contained inside you and it's never going to vanish. So I think there's something what you're saying there with the energy is constricted and it needs to be addressed in order to be released.
Absolutely. And that constriction, what does it do? It prevents the energy from flowing upward. It's locking it. It's dense energy that holds it down. And interestingly, you would think rage and anger would cause that to be more constricted, but it actually, once you release it, like it said, that opens it up and the energy can flow again. It's releasing that toxic energy. It's necessary actually. To do it in some way or form. It's necessary. And I did a channeling of Lucifer a few months back, and he said that um, a lot of the wars were happening because we wanted them to. That's what he said. And a lot of people, because I recorded it and posted it, and a lot of people were they seemed like they were confused about that, some of them. But to me, it makes perfect sense that they want people to get it out of the earth, out of the groups and tribes of people, get that hatred out, and then things can be more peaceful after that, and there'll be more flow, more growth, more progress in human evolution, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's well, so with all of this, a few things that I've been doing whenever I feel something like this, like there's a shift happening, I want to bring myself into alignment with it rather than trying to resist it and trying to stand my ground. No, like let me bring myself into alignment with it. So that has pushed me to embracing the first part of my day a bit more. I've always for the last while I've started my day out with exercise, and then that turned into yoga. I do a yoga routine, but then I've been following that up with doing some solar invocation and working with the solar light quite a bit, and
Yeah.
channeling that solar light through me. And yeah, I don't know if you have anything that you've been doing, or that we can. I'd like to give anybody who's watching this, like, I know they're feeling it too. So what can we give them to be helpful?
Uh, Actually, I have also been connecting with the sun every morning, and I do. Yeah, I do a hymn to Aten, or I do a hymn to the sun, one or the other, or both. And I channeled both. Well, one of them's channeled, one of them's something I wrote, uh, and I use either one of those. And I think that, especially for people listening, I recommend during this time of year when the sun is at its height, the dog days of summer, especially, uh, doing work with the sun. But understanding if you do that, it exposes the darkness within you, and it will poison you in a way. And you remember in the Book of the Law where Ra Hakut says, um, "I will bring fresh fever from the skies." Like I literally, when I do this kind of work with the sun, I feel like I'm getting like a fever, like I feel hot, like my body is just temperature is running hot, not just because of the heat, but because of the energy, the intense solar energy and the intense solar radiation. It causes transformation inside of you. It causes alchemy, and if you can tolerate it, it will absolutely remove obstacles in your consciousness, and it will absolutely guide you to tremendous abilities and power over time if you keep connecting with the sun. And yeah, that would be my recommendation. Just what
I'm
you
actually
said.
I'm actually glad you said that, because as I've been as I've been doing this, it's only been like 2 or 3 weeks that I've been really consciously reaching out to the sun and invoking that solar light every morning. But afterwards, I've had to remind myself that I just invoked a lot of energy, because I feel off. I feel like kind of weird for maybe a good half hour afterwards, almost like like a hypoglycemic attack, which I've had before, of like not enough blood sugar and your body's kind of crashing. That's what it feels like, is a bit of a crash and a heat wave going over me. And I've been like, all right, it's just the energy, and I absorb it and I get used to it. But I wasn't sure if that was just me or whatnot. But the fact that you're saying
No,
this lines
that's
perfectly, I
exactly what
think.
it is, dude. Yeah, when you feel that way, that reminds me to tell people always ground afterward. Be outside, feet on the ground, be near water, sit near water, and you can ask the elements to help you ground. And it helps a lot to do that. I do that a couple times a week. I'll sit by the water and let the water ground my energy and heal the it feels like the circuits in my etheric body are overloaded. They're like almost burned out, and um they need the sustenance of the water and the earth to cool down. So absolutely, that makes a lot of sense.
Awesome. Well, well, another thing is, as we've been talking for the last few minutes, is I've been seeing, just even on the video, like your face shifting. Do you feel like you got Shara coming through you, or yeah, how you
Yeah,
feeling?
Shira Engoth is here. She's here with me all the time, to be honest. And um okay, she says she has a message for EA Koetting specifically, is what she says.
Right.
And she doesn't want it shared with the public.
Yeah.
I just asked her if she wants to say anything to the public. And she says, I will if you want me to. So, which do you want me to channel her after we are done recording for you in particular? And I could do a short message for the public here
Yeah, that might work better.
because I don't
I
want,
don't know.
I don't want to put
Yeah,
your business out
whatever. I
there.
mean, whatever's easier for you. Dude, if she's coming through right now, if she wants to say something right now, let's not hold her back.
All right, sounds good. Many words have come to me, spoken by many, asking me for advice and secrets. I hear your voices. I am behind the veil, listening attentively, and I will share my secrets with you when the time comes. You may wait until I am ready. For now, those who have chosen to follow the path of war and darkness in their hearts will receive the secrets first. Those most willing to embrace us without being asked will receive the secrets first. As most of you know, Enoch and E.A. Koetting have asked for this darkness for many years, and it is coming to them, and it has been given to them. They will know my secrets before all of you. If you will wait, you will have them as well, in due time. And that is all I have for you, my children.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shira Engoth. And she says, there's more to come to you all in the next couple weeks, she says.
So I
And
got
that
my
is all I
notebook
have.
out. I got my
Oh,
notebook out, and I was like, I'm going to write down whatever comes.
right.
And so I went to go start to write down just before you even started. And she said, I reached out to her. I started chanting her name, and she interrupted me, and she said, just listen. And I was like, okay. And I still had the pen out, and she says, write down, just listen. And I was like, all right. So I write down the words, just listen. And then you said war and darkness, those who came forth on the path of war and darkness. And so I write down war and darkness, and I got a very clear signal. She's like, I told you to just listen. It's like, you're not supposed to be taking notes, you're not supposed to be doing talking to me, you're just supposed to be listening. I was like, oh dude, that's
Oh
that's
my
awesome.
God.
But then, as I listened, though, as soon as I put it down and just listened, as you were speaking her words, I felt like you and me and a bunch of other people were inside of this black cloud. And inside of this black cloud, we're moving a million miles an hour, but we don't feel it because we're inside the cloud. But we're being moved to the next whatever. The next
Mhm.
whatever. I don't want to say like dimension or reality because that's a little whatever, but we're we're being moved together. We're in this cloud of blackness together. I love it.
No, that's very accurate, my friend. And another person actually said that to me the other day when um, I was doing an elemental energy healing live on YouTube, and I did a mass elemental energy optimization and balancing. And one of the people in the that was receiving it said they felt like they were in a massive bubble with millions of people, and they were all getting the balancing. So it's interesting. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was a good. I mean, she's very intense, and she often is blunt. She's a war goddess, she's the red goddess. She's red. Um she's action. She's like Shakti. That's what she is. That's why she's so red. She wears red. She has a red cloak. You know, she's the ultimate warrior fucking woman. And it's like very there's so much passion and power in her. I've never felt anything like it, and it's good. It's my vibe. It's my jive. So I love
For
it. But
sure.
but
Yeah.
for those of you, let me just put this out there. Those of you watching this video, if you're interested in knowing more about Shira Engoth, you got to go to my Patreon and join Tier 3 because that's where we're dropping the good stuff. That's where I'm dropping the full-length channelings of Shira Engoth, the power transmissions, the sigils that come through are going to Tier 3 Patreon. And I guess we can end here so we have time
Yeah.
to do more a short channeling for you after. And do you
Awesome.
have anything that you want to plug or anything else you want to say?
My main site is becomealiving god.com. I'm always my so when I got kicked off of social media, like people who only live on YouTube, they're like, "Oh, dude, where'd you go?" Where I went to a place where I'm doing more work than I've ever done before. Where I'm not wasting my time on Facebook and YouTube. My work has gone off the charts. At this point, I'm putting out at least 2 books a month or 2 books a year on, either a new spell book or grimoire or something that you can actually use that's practical. So just becomealivinggod.com. You can also check me out over on Odyssey. I do a weekly show on Odyssey and then on TikTok as well.
Excellent, excellent. All right,
Awesome.
so
See
thank
you,
you
man. It's
guys.
been fun.
What was that?
Thank you. It's been a lot of fun. This has been an awesome conversation.
All right, it has been. I really appreciate you jumping on here and uh, talking with me, and everybody who jumped on and watched this. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel for more good content like this. Thanks, guys.